we've got talk a little Major League, get into Major League Baseball, Terry. So
Dad's already let me know about that.
You didn't want to talk about that.
Well, it's not how I wanted to be greeted, you know.
Well, you walked in the wrong place. I
did.
guess.
I did. If you're not wanting to take some abuse when you walk in here, sometimes never come here, because sometimes we can dish it back to you. You know.
I can't. I can't believe you'd say something to you about the Kansas City Royals. Who won the World Series last? Y'all did before. Besides us, where did we win after y'all?
We've won it. The last one between our two teams.
Right. That's what I thought. That's what I was trying to.
What have you done to me lately?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Well, lately the Cards have been, the Cards have been happy that the rest of the division, I don't know if to call them good, mediocre, all bad, what, because, let's see, 3 of the 4 are above 500, and the other 2 are 2 games and 5 games below, not that far behind it. So the Cardinals started the season off 20-10. Since then, they've went 20-30, and they're 3 games out of first.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, even
20-30, and you're 3 games out of first.
Yeah, as bad as you've played, you're still in it. I mean, when you look at it, you say, I'm only 3 games back, and really in the loss column, you're only 2. So,
and there's what we're right at the halfway point. 80 games, 81 is the official halfway point for the Cardinals. I guess some teams have probably already played 81. The Braves have played 83 there, so they're well past their halfway point. And that's where you usually take stock in the season, Terry. And I'm trying to find some of my tweets from this week. Let's go through the standings real quick, and then we kind of talk. We'll go through the stats. I think they named the All-Star team. We'll go through that here in this first little bit. Yankees in first by 7 games. Boston 9. I buried them after a month. What do you think, Terry? Do they got a chance for the wild card?
They definitely in the wild card race. I mean, they're like a game back or something for that. So I mean, they got a good chance of pulling even, with that. So I mean, don't count them out. They had a bad start. We talk about Cardinals off to a great start. Boston had a bad start. Everybody was like you was putting them away. Like, my Lord, you got this good of a team and you're playing this bad. But still wild card hunt wise, are they going to win division? Probably not. The Yankees have pulled away from even the Rays now and opened up to 7 games. So chance on catching them are not good. But they could easily finish second and be the number 1 wild card team.
All right, Terry. We're going to before we move on, I'm going to do the trivia now.
Okay.
And because I want people to while we're talking baseball, they can kind of think about it and look it up, try to figure it out. So of course, I've got my buddy here that tweets on us, my Trout fan buddy that tweets back and forth with me, who is a Yankees fan. But I'm pretty sure he's a Yankees fan. Don't get me wrong, might be Tigers. I know somebody in the family's a Tigers fan. I want to make sure, but I think he's a Yankees fan. But anyway, he's a Trout and the WAR defender and all this, and I just that stat is just is 100% trash to me. I put it this way: it's such trash that you need like a mathematician to explain it, and I'm not joking. Like, there's an actual formula that mathematicians have to look at to figure it out, and it's so and then it takes 2 pages to explain why it's so dumb, because it's wins against replacement players. But so let's say you got 25 guys on your roster, Terry. Well, shouldn't those win shares add up to the number of wins you got?
Should.
It doesn't.
Well, it should.
So then who's helping the team win the other 30 games? So like if you look up and say, the Angels win shares, and it'll say Trout's got like 6 to 10 or whatever, and everyone else has got 0.0 and stuff like that. So for example, and we talk, so Yadier Molina's team has never had a losing season since he's been there. It may have been one where they went 78 and 81 one year. They've won 2 World Series. He's got 9 Gold Gloves. and he bats 282, I think is his career batting average. But the win shares will say that Trout is like a 15 times better player than him based on the win shares. And then, so what we do around here is we try to break down the stats on it because, and like I was telling my buddy, I was like, listen, you can't, if you, at the end, in my stat book at the end of the game, I don't put win shares down anywhere. And so, looking at that, like you can't, if walks are so valuable, that more than valuable than like a sac fly, like how is that more valuable than a sac fly? If a guy's on third and you walk that because you got on base, the way it works out, you get more points and everything. And then center fielders are valued more than catchers. And I don't see, based on all my playing of baseball, I've played catcher, shortstop, center, pitcher. Center field of those four, I will say, is the most relaxing fun to play. I love chasing balls down and diving. Shortstop's the most, I think, the most stressful because you have to throw. You don't ever realize how quick you have to catch it perfectly and throw it so quick. People think, because the shortstops a lot of times will make it look easy. Well, that's because the player running out first, if it made it easy, probably started jogging and gave up. Because anyone who tries to get down to first on a ball to short, it's close play almost every time. And you got to be able to catch it left, right, backhand, hoppers, everything. The shortstops to me is the best defender / player on the field, and the best baseball player on the field is usually your catcher. I mean, he can do most of the times they can hit, throw, do everything, and they know, Terry. They know they're with the pitcher. That's the thing. Yadier Molina back there calling pitches. You can't tell me that don't affect more games and more win shares than Trout sitting in center field picking his nose. And let's talk in his defense as far as that goes. And they make the point, well, it's for all outfielders, but he's a center fielder. So he's already better than the right fielders and left fielders, right? According to that. So you've already narrowed it down to the 15. So in his career, not once has he been thought of as the best 3 center fielders in the American League.
When we started this year, and I walked in here, and all of a sudden, before the season had ever started, Perez was out, Kansas City's catcher.
Mm-hmm.
I said right then, it's going to be a long year. Because you got to have your team leader, and to me, the catcher is the team leader. He's the guy who, besides the pitcher, is going to see the ball more than anybody that's on the field out there,
right.
in the game. So I knew then that we were in trouble. And when people try to scale, I mean, that's like saying a pitcher and all the money that he makes against a catcher. Well, my catcher is going to be out there every day. My pitcher goes out there once every 4 days, and don't get me wrong, I know they're going to make good money because of what they can do, but if I'm only going to see him once every 4 days, I should be in great shape. But as far as the rest of the positions, I'm like you. I think when I start picking them and I have to pick which position means more to me, it's the catching position because that guy's usually my team leader. He's the one really, sometimes like you're talking about Molina, he's the one really calling all the pitches that's going on in the game. So, I mean, you got to have him above every other player in baseball-wise. Now, that's how I put it, baseball-wise, than any player out there.
I'm trying to bring up the WAR stats for the Angels. There's some point I was going to try to make.
But
anyway.
One other thing you was talking about, shortstops. And shortstop's a hard position to play. I have played with guys who can play shortstop and have a cannon. They can go in a hole and almost read the writing on the ball before they let it go to first. But I've also played with shortstops who do not have that great of an arm, but the ball's out of their hand so quick, it still beats the runner to first base.
Right.
And to me, one of the best ones I ever played with is a young man, and I'll even mention his name, Harold Kester. He was not the fastest to any ball, but any ball that was in a hole, he got rid of it quick, and he outthrew every player going to first base. And I always said if I had a guy to play shortstop for me, it was always going to be him because he was 110% out of everything that went through.
I tell you, my arm wasn't I didn't have a rocket arm to throw people out in the hole, but I could do the old Jeter backhand and jump, get rid of it as quick as you can. I had really good fast hands and good feet around the bag, so jump around the bags, jump over players, from football and basketball, that the footwork and that's when people talk about other sports and these coaches, they want to talk about, playing other sports. The footwork in basketball helps so much at shortstop. It's insane. And also in football, playing quarterback, and this is one thing that people will never know, never talk about. Terry, real quick before, I know we're in baseball. Talk about the footwork quarterbacks have to do just in handing a ball off, let's say a 32 crossbuck. I mean, just a basic handoff. Like, real quick, talk a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, when you're doing it, think about it. He's got to get the snap. Then he's got to turn around. He's got to find his running back. He's got to feed him in the right spot, because his running back's just basically coming through there with his hands up, like stick it here.
Right.
But
it's all timed. It's supposed to be timed exactly right. So, people, if you look at the old Bernie Kosar videos, he didn't have quick feet, so he always started with a foot back.
Yep.
And maybe he didn't want to get his foot caught on the center, too. Sometimes you got a center that steps backwards.
That happens sometimes.
I've been stepped on so many times.
I'm saying.
And that's one thing I don't like about the high school and college rules, is that the whole knee down, you're down rule, because you can trip over your own foot, and it's over. And I'm like, that's not fair. This dumb line in front of me. I just want to yell at Dodo stepped in front of me. I was trying to pull up that the war numbers for the Angels to give you a couple examples, but that's inconsequential. Let me get to the trivia, Terry. How about this?
All right.
Sorry, Casey. I know there's somebody I like that likes the Tigers somewhere. He is a Yankees fan. I thought I was 99% unsure on that. Yankees are in first. You just hope you don't have to play us in the World Series. That's one thing they've done. They've avoided us in a long time. The Red Sox played us, but the Yankees avoided us. All right, 40 double seasons, Terry. Isn't that a good measure of a player seasons? So, if you're the best player of all time, or best players of all time, shouldn't you have a season of 40 doubles?
Well, you should.
Shouldn't you have a season of 300
power hitter or no power hitter?
How about this, Terry? Shouldn't you have let's see, more than one season of 330 home runs and 100 RBIs?
You should.
If I said the greatest hitter ever has never had 40 doubles, and only one time in his career he had 30 home runs, batted 300, and had 100 RBIs.
The only problem I would say is all the RBI wise is the guys in front of you. Are they getting on? Because that can hurt you if they're not getting on, because that brings your RBI totals down. Now, I will say that as far as RBIs wise, but as far as doubles,
only one time. No.
I know. That's what I'm saying. As far as doubles, that can come from players who don't even bat good, can have 40, doubles in a season.
So, for example, Mike Trout's only done. That's who we're talking about. He has never had 40 doubles in a season. He's only once had 30, 30, and 100. I'm going to start counting, Terry. You ready for this? This is Albert Pujols. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 straight seasons to start his career. 30 homers, 300, 100 RBI. 9 times. Trout just done it once. How about this? How about the next year he didn't do it, Terry? This is his 10th year where he failed. He batted .299 and had 99 RBIs. One more RBI and hit. That's a 10th year in a row. Yep. Just one more hit, 10th year in a row. How about the next year? He missed it by 15 points. He had 30 home runs, 100 RBIs. That's Trout year. So in Pujols' 12th worst year is Trout's second best year. You understand what I'm saying on that?
Yeah.
Then he went down and he has not done it in Anaheim. Now, 9 times to start his career for that. So there's that one. So that's not the trivia question. Here's my trivia question. I want to talk about doubles, Terry. I'm going to give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 Cardinals who've had 40 doubles. I'm going to give you 11. We're going to start. How many seasons? Just guess. Stan Musial had 40 doubles. He's the number 1 on the list.
I'm going to say 12.
9.
Okay.
Not that much, Terry. 9 seasons. Stan Musial had 40 doubles. Mike Trout's not done it once. Is Trout faster than Stan Musial?
He should be.
Okay.
He should be.
Now, here's the greatest hitting second baseman of all time coming up next.
Yeah, when I think of that is how do you get out of the box? Are you going 100% coming out of the box, or you thinking, okay,
calling Trout
that's
lazy?
Well.
Slacker?
I might be.
You calling him Bryce Harper over here?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. All right. With now second place, there's a three-way tie in Cardinals history for double seasons. 7 seasons. Remember, Trout's not done it once. 7 seasons. 3 people for the Cardinals did it 7 times. 2 old guys, 1 now, or recent. Joe Medwick, and then the greatest hitting second baseman of all time, Rogers Hornsby, 7 seasons, and Albert Pujols, 7 seasons of 40 doubles. So between 4 Cardinals, there's 30 seasons of 40 doubles right there. Trout's never done it once. We're going to skip that. Now, these aren't seasons with the Cardinals, of course, not all of them. So I'm talking players who've played with the Cardinals, okay? So this is where we're going to get tricky in a second on some of these double seasons. But they got, and then all of them got a 40 double season with the Cardinals, but some of them got a couple more somewhere else, including this guy, and you'll know it when I say it, Larry Walker, the most underrated player in the last 15 years. He had 4 double seasons. He had an MVP season. And he's also got, I think 6 gold gloves. Yeah. Mike Trout has 0 gold gloves. All right, we're getting closer to the trivia question. 3 seasons now of 40 doubles. Scott Rowland, Matt Holliday. Is Trout faster than either one of those two?
He should be.
3 seasons of 40 doubles in the same era. Matt Carpenter. They played the same number of years. He's got 3 40 double seasons. Where's Trout? Now we're down to 2 40 double seasons, Terry. You ready for these guys? Johnny Mize, back when we took YouTube in black and white. Keith Hernandez, you'll remember him playing with the Cardinals. A lot of people remember him with the Mets in his later years. And Edgar Renteria had 2 40 double seasons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 Cardinals had multiple 40 double seasons. Not 1. 11 Cardinals had multiple 40 double seasons. Now here's the trivia question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 other Cardinals had a 40 double season. 21 Cardinals by my count. I may have missed someone I don't even know. So 21 Cardinals, by my count, Terry, have had 40 double seasons. So here's the trivia question. We're going to go with the ones that's only had 1. I'm going to give you one because nobody would ever guess it. Ryan Ludwig had a 40 double season with the Cardinals. The great Ryan Ludwig. Start him in center field. He played center field for the Cardinals. Start him in center field. Here's your trivia question, folks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Name me 3, just 3 of the other 9 St. Louis Cardinals who had a 40 double season. Just 1. And here's a hint. This could get you 2 out of the 3 just thinking about it. The hint is, and Terry, here's another fun one for you Trout fans. 2 of them are catchers. The Cardinals have had 2 catchers with 40 double seasons. And I'll give you another hint. One of the other 9 has 13 gold gloves. 40 double seasons, 2 catchers for the Cardinals. So all you got to do is name me 3 of the 9 Cardinals. Not Stan Musial, not Rogers Hornsby, not Albert Pujols, not Joe Medwick, not Larry Walker, not Matt Carpenter, not Scott Rowland, not Holliday, not Renteria, not Hernandez, not Mize. I've got 10 other Cardinals you can name me that had 1 40 double season, and Mike Trout's not had any. Here's the positions, another hint. Shortstop had a 40 double season. First base, center field, left field, outfield, infield and outfield, outfielder, and 2 catchers. Okay, so what do you think about that?
All you gotta do
The
is
greatest
name 30.
hitter of all time doesn't have a 40 double season, only 130, 100 RBIs, and I just named 21 Cardinals. How many teams are in baseball? I named 21 Cardinals.
Oh, no. 30.
Now, I'm going to say this. Looking at Trout this year, he may be having his best season ever, hitting-wise. And I'll give him credit for that. So there's you go. I'll pat him on the back. He's a good player. But, folks, there's a difference between Albert Pujols and Jim Edmonds, don't you think?
Yes.
Okay. I made the point. Trout's more in Edmonds land than he is Pujols land. Terry, here's the stats. Trout, he's batted 35 more times than Jim Edmonds. Okay, so that's Jim Edmonds in Cardinals. I ain't even talking Angels. So, comparatively speaking, I want to say this: Trout has hit better than Edmonds, but slightly better. It's not even close in Pujols land. Edmonds 285, Trout 304. 690 runs for Edmonds, Trout 854 runs. Now, they do two different things. Trout walks. Edmonds got a better swing in the bat, which I will say this. Edmonds compares almost exactly. They both average right at 150 strikeouts a season. Edmonds was the original swing for it strikeout guy. You remember that? I mean, he would.
Yeah.
All right, home run hits, 1,033, 1,260 for Trout. Trout's got 18 more doubles, 21 more home runs, and Edmonds, like we talked about RBIs earlier, has more RBIs. 6 Gold Gloves for Edmonds in a World Series, no Gold Gloves for Trout. Not even one playoff game win. Not a series win. He got swept in his only playoff appearance. So, my comparison was, he's closer to Edmonds than Pujols, I think. And he's like, Edmonds ain't making the Hall of Fame. I'm like, he won 9 Gold Gloves and batted 285, 240 home runs, 700 RBIs. He might not, but it's close. If you can't tell me that Edgar Martinez is a better baseball player than Jim Edmonds was. I mean, I just don't think it is.
You know, it's like trying to figure out your outfield, well, how them going to get the ball. Now, here's a difference. We talk about maybe Trout don't come out of the batter's box as quick as to have all the doubles. But when I I mean, that's what I'm saying. But when I'm sitting back and I'm thinking about outfielders, I think Edmonds going to get the ball, to me, was a whole lot better than Trout, but maybe Trout's speed shows up in the outfield where it makes routine plays look simple for him, where Edmonds, he had to give a lot more.
If that's the case, would he have not won Gold Glove?
Well, he should have.
That's my case.
Yeah.
That's my case, though. If that's the case, he should have won at least one. Edmonds got 9.
Yeah.
Andrew Jones got a bunch, too.
Yeah.
Like, just one. At some point, the voters, if they like him a lot, obviously, he would have played so good. You don't think the voters would be like, yes, let's give Mike Trout a Gold Glove. They want to give him every award they can.
Yeah.
If they're naming him maybe the greatest hitter of all time and he's never had a 40-double season, they'd give him a Gold Glove in a heartbeat. Yeah, I think if his numbers proved it. But they get pretty intense on that. So anyway, folks, just name me 3 Cardinals who've had a 40-double season. If you call JP, I'm gonna give him the list here in a second, and we'll give you 4 Grizzlies tickets tonight against the Asheboro Copperheads. If you don't win tonight, I'm gonna take him down to Gastonia with me and give away Calvin with the Subway sandwich today. But we try to get in these points, and it's not really about Trout. It's more about the WAR stat. I really don't want to hate on Trout. He's a really good baseball player. I would take him on our team. But Terry, I just named all those folks. If I gave you an outfield of left field Lou Brock, center field Jim Edmonds, and right field Stan Musial, and I walked out there and said, "Who you taking off the field to put Mike Trout out there?"
I'd take none of them off. I mean, I'm sorry, but I would not.
And you're not a Cardinals fan.
No.
I'm just the reason I'm using the Cardinals, for example, is just because I know them better and I can kind of get more detailed with them about them, and that's
but
that's
it might
really why
be the years that they spend and what I know they can do. You know, there's the difference in Trout. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's played for a while now, but I'd not take any of them other ones off to stick him in.
And then you can make an awesome argument. You know, you're talking Cardinals. If when you're arguing about that, you could make a case. Some people would. That you could put the 1985 MVP in center field instead of Edmonds and Willie McGee. Some people would make that argument.
Yeah.
he's not as. I mean, McGee's a good fielder, but he was the '85 MVP. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't. It's not like he wasn't bad. So like you can make that argument. And then I like to talk about with the Yankee fans. They like to talk about all the great players that play for them. I'm like, well, if we go by position, I mean, I got Yadier at catcher. Who's your best catcher? You go Yogi. It's pretty good. We go first base. We go Pujols at first. He's won a Gold Glove and obviously maybe the best right-handed hitter. Scott Rowland at third, maybe one of the best defensive third basemen we've ever seen. Ozzie at shortstop. What are you going? You're not getting anything by that side of the infield. Second baseman Hornsby, best hitter, second baseman hitter of all time. So your infield is Pujols, Hornsby, Ozzie Smith, and Scott Rowland. Outfield Lou Brock, Edmonds, and Stan Musial. And your DH, by the way, Mark McGwire, who can hit with Babe Ruth. So, we can talk Cardinals on that too. But I
might be just going too deep, but not one deep. Anyway,
do what?
They might be that you're going too deep, but not one.
What do you
deep.
mean by that?
Like if
the Yankees going too deep. Yeah, that's true. Like then you get into Larry Walker. He's so underrated. He's getting these Hall of Fame.
Always a good
these
hitter.
Hall of Fame voters.
Yeah.
I mean, for Edgar to get 84 and he got like 50 something, and he's an MVP. Yep. And I mean, it's not like I don't like him because he came to Cardinals. He didn't really do much for us. I don't even know if he ended up won that. Oh goodness!
But
one of the responses on Twitter, Terry, was, and this is why they always say he's led the league in on base percentage. Oh my goodness! Do we need to give him a participation award? Like I said, Terry, Casey, which is better, a sac fly to right, or a walk to first with a man on third? Which is better? A ground ball to second hit so hard he can't catch it and boots it with a man on third, or a walk. Because you don't get that on base for it. They get that on that ARD. Well, you just get on base period, but you don't get the batting average hit. But sac flies, which is better. So the on base thing, I know if you sac fly it don't count. We get into details about that, but we can argue about it all day. The walks thing, it's the war is a flawed stat. I think they got to make the adjustment on that. I mean, on base percentage is good, is okay, but it's just JP's got to call. JP, if you'll hold on, I'll come in. We got to take a break, and we'll be right back anyway. Fun talk. I like Mike Trout, good ball player, but he's not one of the GOATs. So we got to be careful on that. All right, we'll be back. KTCBroadcasting.com.